What is up, people? It is me, Monster58. Welcome back to another video review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes, Superion. This day has finally come. I am really excited to finally bring this video to you guys because just like any of us who have Menasor for a long time, we finally get his arch nemesis from the aerial bots, the combiner known as Superion. And so to begin this, what I'd say, and I recommend you do before you even go along with me in this video, get Silverbolt and all of the aerial bots into their jet modes. In addition, remove all of their weapons for the 4 aerial bots besides Silverbolt. Because what we'll do with this Silverbolt is I will show you guys how to transform him, because I really think that going from their vehicle modes is so much easier than going from their robot modes. So what we're going to do is when you have Silverbolt in this, the first thing you're going to do is remove Silverbolt. So let's get him out. Lift those wings up, fold the landing gear because we're not going to end up using that. Then you just fold this down. So what you're going to do with this big brick section here is we're going to remove the gun. We're going to fold this out and transform it now, and it'll be transformed and just be fine like this. Then you wouldn't want to take the gun from the front of Silverbolt or his own gun, and then you can just plug that in like so, and then you will have Superion's gun in comparison to Menasor's sword. Then from here, we'll take this section. So you're going to want to untab this part in the back, like this. Then this will give you the ability to pull this off. And then what you're going to do is rotate these down. And then you're going to leave this section like this for now. So set that off to the side. Then you're going to take these sections here. It's split into 4 sections. So you're going to split them once and then split them again. So split them again. Next, we'll do the legs first. So what you're going to do is fold this down. This will snap right into place like so. And then you're going to want to take this section. You're going to want to rotate all the way around. And then you can lock this section in by pushing this little tab in. Rotate what will become the leg joint, then take the toe and fold that down, then take this section and then fold that, and then you have one leg. What I do to gauge which side it is, which side the legs is, this will determine. So if this is on the inside, this will be his left leg, our right. So same thing here. So you're going to fold this down, you're going to rotate this around, you're going to lock this in, fold that, then you're going to take the toe, fold that down, fold this in, and then you have the legs already good and ready to roll. So we're going to set that off to the side as well. Set those off to the side. Then from here, you're going to take the arms, and these are simple. So these you can just actually leave them as is, and then we'll get to Silverbolt here in a second. So I'm going to set these off to the side as well. And then from here to do Silverbolt, it's pretty simple actually. So what you're going to want to do is sort of start to transform them. So untab this, accordion this up like so, and then I like to fold this down onto the side like this. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to take this section, you're going to again transform it like you usually would. So you're going to unfold this, fold the nose cone in, pull this up, and accordion this around like so. Fold this down and then compress this all in with those 2 tabs. And then from here, what you're very simply going to do is just fold these in. You're going to sort of rotate these out to give you a little bit of clearance. And you're going to also want to leave this, I forgot about that, you want to leave this just a little bit tabbed like this because you're going to need clearance for this. You just take his head, rotate it around, and you basically already have Superion transformed and ready to go into the actual combined mode. So to do this, what you're going to want to do is you're going to start off with this section here so we can get this out of the way. So, well, that came untabbed. That's my bad there. So you have these 2 little tabs here, and then you have the 2 tab holes on the bottom of the chest piece. What you're going to want to do is you'll see here there is a tab hole sort of in his butt cheek area, and then you're going to tab this all in. Those 2 tabs I showed you just a few seconds ago. Then you're going to want to like tab that section and to help lock all of this in. You'll see that, and you'll feel a tab, and then you can sort of compress everything on the back like this. And then you want to take this section, and you'll see that there are 2 tab holes there, and there are 2 big square tabs that will just compress into there. And you have this part of Superion already transformed. So from here, we'll do each of the arms. So the arms will start off with the arms. So for this is going to be his this is his left arm, our right. I like to put Slingshot on this arm. So what I like to do is very simply, you have the 4 tab holes. Oh yeah, fold the landing gear. You have the 4 tab holes. You have these 4 tab holes here, and then you have these 2 tabs, and you have these 2 tabs. So what you're going to do is, what I like to do is fold the wings up, and then you can just line up all those tabs together. Come on, this really isn't hard. There we go. Then to do the arm, what you're going to want to do is once you've compressed this, you should be able to just split, then accordion these down and tab them into place like so. Do the same here. Tab into place like so. And because we have this now, do this, then you're going to want to have these, this little slot will go right into where Silverbolt's foot is, like so. Or, come on. Oh, excuse me. One second, by the way, one thing I forgot, fold these in and give you more clearance, that's my bad. But this should slide in like that, perfectly fine. And then from here, you're going to do the same. Let me bring the camera a little bit up as well. Get that out of the way. So again, for the other arm, you're going to want to take this. You're going to want to take Fireflight, fold these up and do the same. Fold in the landing gear. Then you're just going to want to line them up. Like that. Then you should be able to split this like that. Tab that into place like that. Accordion it down. Tab it into place like that. Then all you got to do, take the section, slot it there like so. Then we have this part of Superion finished. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the camera back here. And my stupid chair leg isn't helping here with this. All right, now we've brought the camera a bit further back. Let's do the legs. So the legs are going to be different because both of the aerial bots here for air raid as well as Skydive require you to actually do some like transformation. So to transform each of these guys, I'm going to transform them once because it's the same thing for both air raid and Skydive. So we'll grab air raid here. You accordion this like so. Then you take the nose cone and then you rotate it like that. Take the head and push that in. Then fold this in. You want to fold the wings up. Rotate them all the way around. And for a Skydive, you just don't have to do this part. Then you fold these up. And then I believe air raid. Let me just look real quick. Yeah, so once you have them like this, I had to check that real quick. Sorry, air raid is the right leg. So what we're going to do, we're going to take him, and you'll see these two tab holes right here. These two tabs, excuse me, the two tab holes here. And then you'll notice this sort of part here will end up getting clipped underneath this little hook here. So tab this all in like that. Push that all in. And your confirmation should essentially, you push that all in, it should fill in this front bit here. So we'll set that off to the side. Do the same thing with Skydive. So grab this guy, do this, accordion that down like that, that. Pull that in, and all you got to do now is same thing here, just push this all in like that, tab this all in together. Alrighty, now we have both of the legs, and so to do this, we're gonna actually swap these. Swap these around. Did I get that right? Oh, excuse me, I'm stupid. Let me swap both of these out. Give me 1 second. Alrighty, there we go. I was stupid. I put the wrong area bots on the wrong legs. But now that we have Superion, air raid on the right leg of Superion, all you got to do is we turn around here, and then you see this little slot here. All you got to do is just this. Slide that right in. Got to do the same thing here. Just slide this right into place as well. Then to complete the look, all we got to do is, well, we got to zoom out a bit because this guy is rather large. He is a combiner after all. To complete the look, what we're going to do is we're going to take the gun. You can see there's a little tab square hole here. There's one here as well. And all you got to do is just tab that into place like so, along with the handle. I did forget to fold that out. I'm stupid. Where's the handle? There you go. Fold that handle out right there. Yes, and then you'll see this square tab is not this square tab hole. And then we just fold that right in like so. And then I'll tell you where I place all the guns because I'm going to have to get up to do this because there's a lot of, I don't have too much room to mess around with this guy. So what I like to do with the guns is for both of like air raid and, Fireflight and Slingshot's guns, I kind of just like putting them here because I think they look cool here like this. And then I'll also put them on the back because there's also tabs on the back. So I like to, actually not on the back, on this side. What I like to do here too is what we'll do is we will grab... Sorry guys, one thing I forgot to do is you fold in these wings. I don't know why I keep forgetting. I always forget stuff when I'm doing stuff. Then, instead of just these guns, I like to just take the air raid's guns and I can chuck them here on the sides here. like so. Then from here, you can do whatever you want. If I had to say something, I would definitely prefer for them to sort of be out of the way, but there really isn't the best places to put these guys. So one of the things I just end up doing is I just end up putting them on like the front or like the back of the front here, depending on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I just put them on the back and just rotate them around just so you can't see them all that well. So you can do that like that. And then from, oops, he's going to fall over. And then from here, we can take these ones and sort of do the same thing, where I like to put these on the side as well. Just get them out of the way, like here, as well as maybe like right over here on Skydive's wing. But ladies and gentlemen, let me make sure I have this all on camera and in frame. Here we have the Transformers Age of the Primes Superion in his absolutely wonderful looking combined mode. Now, guys, when it comes to how this guy looks, I mean, he looks absolutely fantastic. The one thing I will say about Superion that's different from Menasor, which is a talking point that I'd like to have with this in general, is when it comes to Menasor is very unique in terms of the individual bots, right? Dead End, Dragstrip, Wild Rider, Motormaster, and Breakdown are all very distinct-looking characters from one another. Even though they do look cohesive when they get into Menasor, you can't deny that they are all very unique. With the aerial bots, they all look relatively very similar in the same color schemes relative to one another. They're very similar in that respect, and because of that, Superion looks very samey in comparison to Menasor. That's a benefit or a curse, right? At the end of the day, do you prefer the more cohesive look of Superion, but do you like the more sort of unique look that Menasor has when it comes to, I think he's a little more visually interesting to look at in terms of like the uniqueness of the colors and stuff like that. But when it comes to the accuracy of how this guy looks in comparison to his G1 counterpart, his G1 model, this guy looks really, really good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try and push this guy up to the side here, and we are going to put the picture of how Superion appeared in the actual cartoon here on the side here, and you can see he looks really, really good. Sure, he's not super perfect, and when it comes to these skeleton combiners at the end of the day, they're also not perfect in terms of their articulation and everything, but from a visual standpoint, this guy looks absolutely amazing, and I cannot deny that. And so, what we're going to do is take a look at the details. We're going to grab him now. You can see the head sculpt is absolutely fantastic for Superion. It looks really, really good. The only major issue I have is that these tend to pop off, but the Autobot symbol is nice, and he looks really good. Now, you can fold these down if you'd like, if you don't like the look of the exposed, which is the criticism I do have. But other than that, he still looks really good. He cleans up really well besides this part. It's the only part that doesn't clean up well, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. Devastator is also not one to shy away from not cleaning up well, but overall, this still looks fine. This is just, literally, this is the worst part. It's really kibbly. I know that it looked like that in the show, but it wasn't this bad in the show, so I wish there was a better way for them to have done this, but overall, it's not the worst thing in the world. It actually doesn't inhibit his articulation, funnily enough, despite how kibbly it is. Overall, it comes out this guy he looks fantastic, and I'm really, really happy to finally have the rival to Menasor. And so, speaking of Menasor, we are going to do two size comparisons. We're just going to set Superion off to the back there. Here he is with the Transformers Legacy United Deluxe Class Infernac Universe Magnus. As you can see, he is much bigger than a Deluxe. Considering he's made up of one Commander and 4 Deluxes, I really do like the Skeleton Combiners because when it comes to these Skeleton Combiners, the biggest thing with these guys is that they're stable. These are way more stable. Sure, I think he almost took a little tumble there, but for the most part, when it comes to these Skeleton Combiners, that's the one thing I love about these figures, is this Combiner in general and the Skeleton Combiner. The sturdiness. The original Combiner Wars ones were super compromised, and they ended up just falling apart, you know. Even the Devastator wasn't all that great. The only, the most stable version of him was him being as Devastator, and even then it was still a bit loose. But overall, when it comes to the size, you can see the absolute size difference between these two. And finally, folks, it wouldn't be a Superion comparison without his arch rival and nemesis, Menasor. As you can see, these two basically the same exact height, and they look fantastic together. They look really, really good, and I'm really, really happy to have both of them in their combined modes here on my desk in my review studio. like with this scene. It's just simply fantastic to see these two together like this. I am so beyond happy to finally have this. And again, they look great with one another. Like I told you, the uniqueness of Menasor is what sets him apart in terms of each of the individual characters. Superion's cohesion makes him really, really cool. It makes him very visually appealing to look at as well, right? When everything just kind of flows together, and that's how Superion is. And so overall, when it comes to how Superion scales, he scales just fine. Now, I would show Devastator, but I still don't have Mixmaster. Mixmaster is actually currently being shipped to my house, so when we do the Devastator review, I will definitely bring in both Menasor and Superion so you guys can see the comparisons there. But yeah, looks really, really good. And so, guys, the major thing to show left here is really the articulation, because there's not much else. I've already shown you the gun and the accessories and everything like that, and how to plug in, or how I like to plug in the guns from the other aerial bots onto here. But when it comes to his articulation, he's got a little bit of a, technically like a neck joint here, but it's really transformation. We get a full 360 up and down here, a little bit of side to side. Arms can also do full 360 on some very nice ratchets, but you can see a full 360. It's just the stupid review studio. But then you have bend here at 90, you have a rotation here as well. Then there's a little bit of wrist articulation as well, so that's pretty nice. In addition to that, you do have waist articulation, but it does get a little bit inhibited because of the backside of how Superion is plugged in, but it's still pretty nice. And then you can go for the legs. You can flip the skirts up, you can go forward, you can go back about that far, you can 90 at the knee, and sure, this maybe hampers it just a little bit, but it's not that bad at all. Really doesn't, like, look at that, doesn't hamper it at 90 at the knee, rotation the upper part of the thigh, and you have ankle rocker pivot. So overall, when it comes to the actual like articulation for Superion, sure, it's not the best, it's not the most dynamic, but given how he is made and everything that it takes, I'm pretty damn happy with how well articulated he is. I'm more or less going to have him stand like this, which I guarantee most people are anyway. Dynamic poses, for most people, you just don't have the room for that, and so I can forgive it in that sense. And so, yeah, articulation is pretty solid. And so, guys, for my final and concluding thoughts on the Transformers Age of the Prime Superion, this guy is really awesome. Now, when it comes to everything coming together cohesively, sure, I've mentioned that I do think that Fireflight and Skydive are a little bit lazy, and that I do think that Fireflight, out of all of these aerial bots, is not the best. You know, what this figure does really well is that it feels solid, way better than the Combiner Wars ones. In addition, it looks really, really good representative to his, in comparison to his G1 cartoon model, everything like that. He looks absolutely amazing. The only major issues I would currently have with the figure would be the wings, storing the guns, and then also the leg kibble on the back. That's what I'm not the biggest fan of. And the articulation, although it's solid, isn't amazing. So not to get like too nitpicky here, but you won't be able to get any crazy dynamic poses. But I assume that most people, including myself, will more or less have him in a neutral pose because room, right, and restrictions for your room for collections and stuff like that. But overall, when it comes to this guy, the biggest discussion for me is whether you're talking about this versus Menasor. And for me, I do prefer Menasor in terms of the look a bit more, in terms of like the uniqueness, right? All the characters are pretty unique. Dragstrip and Dead End look completely different than Breakdown and Wild Rider, despite the figure for Breakdown being a retool repaint of Wild Rider. It still looks visually more unique, right? But I love the cohesion of this. And so that's what you're playing with is, do I think that either of them are necessarily better than the other? Actually, no. I think they're pretty equivalent to one another. I don't necessarily think I prefer either Menasor or Superion to each other. I just like them both a lot. Like I said, it's not perfect. Neither of them are actually perfect, but they're the best representations of these characters that we've gotten, while still keeping each of the individual bots able to be displayed in their individual modes, and so individual like characters and everything like that. I just think that for Superion, the individuality of each of the characters is a little bit more lost because of the nature of the aerial bots, nature of their designs and everything like that. But I still think that that's a little knocking of Superion. But overall, out of a 10, I gotta give this guy an 8. He's really solid. I highly recommend him, especially if you're picking up all the aerial bots in general. This is what I'm going to end up displaying all the aerial bots as. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, no discussion about that for me. I'm really excited to finally have Superion in the collection. Really excited and looking forward to Bruticus and Devastator, and eventually, hopefully, Defensor, and maybe a Predaking eventually. I know that I believe believe Evan had mentioned that on recent Hasbro Pulse live stream, that he was that people were saying that they wanted Predaking. Even though I have no connection to Predaking, I would love to actually pick up a Predaking because I think it looks freaking cool. But other than that, yeah, I definitely would highly recommend this. Definitely take a look at your. I did pick everything up on the Big Bad Toy Store for Superion, I believe. Well, actually, I think I picked up a few in store. So regardless, I'll leave links in the description to all of the aerial bots that I can. Also leave links in the description to Hasbro Pulse as well as Amazon for all of them individually, so you guys can take a look at any of those retailers and take a look if you wish to pick up this guy. But definitely be on the lookout at your local Walmarts, local Targets, anything local for retailers to pick this guy up, so that you can to pick all the individual figures up. So if you decide to hunt IRL, I wish you the best of luck in doing so. But yeah, I think that's really it. So I thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Also follow me on the socials. Those will be linked in the description below. And with that, guys, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video review, and I'll catch you on the next one. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.